With the ring general Gunther on the precipice of greatness by becoming the longest reigning Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time, many have wondered what is left for the leader of Imperium to do, and I have quite the idea. Let's just say Gunther maintains his hold over the Intercontinental Championship, not only equaling but shattering the Honky Tonk Man's historic title reign, and eventually feels like he's invincible. So invincible that he provokes a confrontation with a certain beast incarnate headed into the new year. Monday Night Raw emanates live from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, following WWE Payback, where we are less than a week away from recognizing Gunther as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time after successfully retaining the title over Chad Gable to cement his place in history. To celebrate this huge milestone, Imperium's Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci are in the ring and proceeds to introduce the dominant champion as he makes his way to address his future as Intercontinental Champion. But before he can even speak, the music of Brock Lesnar glares throughout the arena as for the first time since SummerSlam in Ford Field, the Beast Incarnate marches to the ring and gets in the face of Imperium. More specifically, Gunther.
Congratulations, we briefly met at the Royal Rumble earlier this year, but I think it's time we properly become acquainted. My name is Brock Lesnar.
Not allowing Gunther to speak, Brock quickly scoops him up, looking for the F5, but the rest of Imperium goes on the attack as Gunther escapes the ring. But that assault is short-lived as Brock easily takes out both Kaiser and Vinci with suplexes as Gunther stares on in disgust before Brock finally lays out Kaiser, Gunther's right-hand man, with an F5 before leaving the ring. Gunther continues to make history, but he now has one of the most dangerous athletes in combat sports in his crosshairs. Following that encounter with Brock Lesnar, Gunther went on quite the tear out of anger, continuing to stack up wins in singles competition while Kaiser and Vinci began staking their claim in the tag team division until another familiar foe made his presence felt when Ilya Dragunov made his Monday Night Raw debut to become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental title. A few weeks later at WWE Fastlane, Gunther defended his historic title reign against the Invincible Force, who stopped his previous historic title reign in the WWE Dragunov, and the match itself lived up to the hype of being the rubber match between the two. Near fall after near fall after near fall. At the conclusion, it appeared that Gunther's title reign would continue until the sounds of chaos rung throughout the arena before the rest of Imperium are laid out backstage and shown on the Titantron, showing the feat of what it appears to be Brock Lesnar, which distracts Gunther long enough for Dragunov to connect with a lariat of his own before hitting the champion with the Torpedo Moscow to pick up the historic victory and become the man to end the dominant reign of the Ring General. Following the loss of the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther goes on quite the path of destruction, leading into the new year, furious at the actions of Brock Lesnar. It is now that time of year where 30 men vie for the opportunity of a lifetime to etch their names in history, as it is now time for the 30-man Royal Rumble match. And after some time, the Ring General enters the match at number 10 and goes on the run, eliminating up to 7 competitors until Brock Lesnar makes his entrance into the match at number 20, and Gunther immediately turns his focus to Brock, and both men stare each other down before a brief game of one-upsmanship begins between both men, with both men connecting with their respective moves before Dragunov catches Gunther with a flying clothesline, stunning his longtime rival, and Brock Lesnar then proceeds to eliminate the Ring General from the Rumble, once again screwing Gunther out of a victory and a chance to main event WrestleMania. Later on in the match, Brock goes on another rampage before Imperium enters the ring and attacks Brock, who quickly dispatches of both Vinci and Kaiser, but then from behind, Gunther attacks Brock with a steel chair before eliminating Brock himself. But Gunther isn't done as he grabs the steel steps and goes on the attack of Brock before slamming the beast through the announce table with a powerbomb. Both men's chance at main eventing WrestleMania has gone up in smoke, but the flames of their pending showdown has just been lit. A few weeks have passed since the Royal Rumble, and Gunther continues to call out Brock Lesnar for a fight, but to no avail. So he takes a trip to the Island of Relevancy to pay a visit to Paul Heyman, who knows Brock Lesnar better than anyone, despite not managing the Beast since his betrayal at Royal Rumble 2022. Paul advises Gunther to find a way to lure out the Beast for a fight. Following his exchange with Paul Heyman, Gunther is seen walking backstage and comes across both Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander convening in the locker room gym.
Hey Shelton, you're still good friends with Brock Lesnar?
Yes, and I've been watching your little back and forth. If you have a problem with him, he'll come see you on his own time. Now if you excuse us, we were in the middle of a conversation.
From behind, Ludwig and Giovanni attacks Cedric before Gunther decks Shelton and attacks him all over the backstage area.
Tell Brock the next time you see him that I'm looking for a fight.
Gunther then proceeds to powerbomb Shelton through a pile of tables near the parking garage, injuring Benjamin in the process. The next week on Raw, Brock Lesnar returns and has a direct message to the ring general following his actions.
Gunther, now I am one to keep my personal life out of the spotlight because it's nobody's business but mine. But what is very well known is my relationship with people like Shelton Benjamin, and you chose to hurt him to get to me. Well, mission accomplished, boy. You want to fight? You got it.
The challenge has been accepted. It will be the ring general versus the Beast Incarnate in a house fight of epic proportions, and that match was made official for WrestleMania in Philly. For the 40th consecutive year, the WWE brings you the biggest spectacle in sports and entertainment live from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for WrestleMania. And kicking off the broadcast is a house fight that has since been converted in a no-holds-barred affair as the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, the ring general Gunther, finally clashes with the legendary Beast, the only man to win a WWE and UFC heavyweight championship, Brock Lesnar. Before the match officially begins, Brock quickly exits the ring and takes the fight to both Vinci and Kaiser, taking them both out of the equation for the time being, staring down Gunther before entering the ring and taking the fight to the general. Now that this fight is a one-on-one affair, Brock kicks off the battle head-on against Gunther, and throughout this match, both men exchange brutal and intense strikes and kicks before Brock takes Gunther to Suplex City. But somehow Gunther finds a way to fight through the pain and responds with a drop kick before taking Brock's head off with the lariat. As the match reaches its climax, and both men are very well spent, to the point where Brock removes his gloves and begs Gunther to fight him, and his wish is granted. And it looks like Brock is about to put Gunther away for good until Imperium returns to the fray and attacks Brock until Shelton Benjamin rushes the ring with a steel chair and fights off Imperium, making sure they're no longer a problem for Brock. But Gunther attacks Shelton from behind, tossing him out of the ring before turning into an F5 from Brock Lesnar, looking to conquer the ring general. But somehow Gunther kicks out at 2.9 seconds. At the conclusion, Brock stalks Gunther for another F5, but Gunther slips out and takes Brock's head off with a huge lariat before connecting with another one, and then proceeds to connect with a powerbomb onto Brock onto a pile of steel chairs to pick up the win. Despite the outside interference, these two put on an instant classic, but in the end, it was the ring general who slayed the Beast on the grandest stage of them all. Following the match, Brock slowly recovers to the sold-out crowd, cheering him on and showering him with Suplex City chants. But then he proceeds to remove his boots, and those chants quickly convert to "Thank you, Brock" chants, and he leaves them in the ring as he heads to the top of the stage one last time. Brock's music plays in the arena as he turns around and taunts one last time before leaving the arena. Is this the end of Brock Lesnar in the WWE? Now, of course, I don't see it happening this way in regards to Brock Lesnar retiring in the WWE, but seeing as how Brock is from a fan's point of view, one or two things can happen. I could see him going down in the ring and doing the honors for someone like a Gunther. That would be nice to see if you ask me, but he can also say, nah, and quietly retires because he's Brock and he does what he wants. Now, I booked it this way because I feel like if Brock had to retire or decided to call it quits, I wouldn't put a stipulation on it or hinder it as a Intercontinental Championship match. Gunther has basically broke the record, used that title reign as a way to catapult someone else as champion. And I say this because if they strap a "if Brock Lesnar loses, he must retire" tagline to it, it'll feel like a wrestling gimmick and not a genuine thing. And let's be honest, it's the wrestling business. No one truly retires until they head to the upper room. But hypothetically speaking, if this upcoming WrestleMania was to be Brock Lesnar's final showdown, and if the rumor is true that Brock's hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota is the forefront pick for being the home of WrestleMania 41, I can see him hanging up the boots at either this one or that one if he chooses to, and maybe perhaps go into the WWE Hall of Fame as a headliner. Or hell, for all I know, he could be wrestling for the next 5 years and this video is completely pointless. But if Brock and Gunther were to go at it, the outcome would still be the same for me. Gunther for the win. But let me know what you think. If Brock Lesnar were to retire, do you see him putting someone over on the way out, or just simply retiring without the whole spectacle and glamour of wrestling one last time? Let me know down in the comments using the hashtag BrockRetired. And if you somehow made it to this point of the video and would like to see more like it, chop that subscribe button like your Gunther while making sure you turn the notification bell on so you won't miss an upload, all while following me on social media at JoshGreshamORG. And when you're done doing that, make sure you check out my previous What If videos, including this one right here, where I asked the question of what if Io Sky cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase on Rhea Ripley instead of Bianca Belair. I'll catch you over there, and y'all be breezy.
Living pretty well on the chairman. I ain't giving no chance like Vince. Brock Lesnar on the beast. Eat, sleep, flex, and repeat. Whole new swag with a price on the tag. Coming live from the west to the east. Better recognize on the mouthpiece. See the power level gotta increase. Bringing content on a daily. Feeling like Gresh unleashed.